Welcome to Delightfully Dysfunctional, a podcast about navigating the emotions of the human condition and the challenges that come with it. I'm Kaylani Persian Mason, a psychotherapist and life coach with James Timmons, an ever-curious human. This is not a replacement for mental health therapy. Please seek out mental health care if that's what you're needing. This is an opportunity for self-healers to dive deep and understand more about themselves.
Welcome back to Delightfully Dysfunctional. I'm your host, Kaylani, and this is my co-host, James.
Hi. Hello. That's what you do.
I always go, hi.
Hi. Try to do it lower, but you do it high. But if I did it high, it'd be like, hi.
No, just keep in your regular speaking voice. I hit that. That's the range that I go to. Just say hi.
Okay. Hi.
No, you went high.
I did.
Just say hi.
Hi.
There,
Hi.
it's like, hi.
That sounds so like, wah, wah.
Yeah, I've realized that that's a very feminine way to greet our people.
Our people.
So like, I need to be more masculine. I'm just gonna be like, what's up?
Hey, bro.
Ladies. That's how I'm gonna greet. Welcome to this is my co-host James. Ladies.
I love how you're doing that. You're pandering to the ladies, but you do know that our analytics say that the majority of our listeners and watchers, our viewers, are male.
I feel like it's because I'm not pandering to the ladies.
Oh, we're trying to bring the ladies in. You're fishing for some ladies.
Yeah. Ladies.
Well, let us know how it's working, ladies. Ladies.
Lady with the smolder.
I can't handle the smolder. It's too much. It's too much.
Ladies.
Oh my gosh. Welcome back to Delightfully Dysfunctional. I am Kaylani, and this is my co-host, James.
Ladies.
Right on cue. And today's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. We're going to figure out the theme as we go, to be honest. That sounds a little weird, but
Sounds a little dysfunctional.
Dysfunctional.
Ladies.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's going to be a magical ride. Yeah, you're cut off. You've had enough.
Okay.
You've had enough.
Sorry.
You're done.
Ladies.
No. No.
We're trying
now
to...
they're gone. Now you've lost them. They all left.
Okay.
There were two. They're gone. There are two lady listeners. They're gone.
Okay. Maybe are they going to my DMs?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So today, I was really touched today. I was reading through some of the comments on our YouTube, which has recently taken off, which has been super exciting and fun. And the thing that I find the most exciting and fun about that is the whole point for me, the fuel for me of showing up and preparing and entering this project is to provide more connection and belonging to people in a world that is really lonely.
For sure.
And wow, we've gotten such heartfelt messages in response that let me know that we're on track.
Yeah, it feels so amazing that like just that people are out there like dialoguing with us and that our content actually means something to them.
Yes.
And then there's like this feel of like a community, which is something that we've been striving to do, a curious culture, a vulnerable community. And surprisingly, it's like predominantly male, which male vulnerability is a very rare thing, but like we've somehow tapped into this like concentrated.
We've planted some seeds.
Yeah.
And YouTube is, I think, predominantly males watch YouTube. I love YouTube, so I'm an anomaly, but that could be a part of it as well. However, all of the most heartfelt comments that came through were from our male viewers. Yeah. And I love that we get to provide an opportunity for them to tap into that, because for me, that's group therapy.
Right.
And I love group therapy. Oh my gosh. Like that. And then group therapy gives you the opportunity to heal through other people's stories, to connect with that sense of humanity, that we're all in this together. We are just walking each other home. We're all healing. We're all broken. We are all delightfully dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And and the honesty and the realness was just beautiful. And so if you have been a listener or a longtime listener and you are curious about what's going on over on our Facebook page, we've started to do some therapist reaction. I'm sorry. Thank you. On YouTube. We've started to do some therapist reactions to different music videos that have really resonated with us. And that has been so much fun because through music, you can really get to the core of what like common experiences that we all have of grief, of struggle, of, you know, managing our internal voice, our internal critic, and of perseverance and resilience. And I think that that's beautiful. It is the stuff of life that is my favorite to dive into. And I've just really enjoyed it. So I feel like it's fun. They're shorter, kind of like 10 to 15 minutes or so.
Yeah,
something.
A couple of them are like 18.
Right. Yeah. So 10 to 20 minutes. And I just encourage you to give it a try and give it a watch if you haven't yet. But I want to share some of the comments with you because you had.
And these are like blind reacts for me. Although I might have skimmed across a few of them because I do read some of the comments.
I think some of these were pretty recent.
If they're long though, I'd be like, I ain't got time for that. I'm just kidding.
Let me pull one up. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is one that really got me. And warning, if you are in your car and listening to children, some of these stories are going to touch on things like addiction. They're going to touch on things related to trauma and related to suicide. So I want to give you a warning, but I also want to honor the human experience that includes those things and to not go around it. I want us to dive right in. Okay, so this was a comment on, I believe this was the Ren suicide music video that we reacted to and Ben Ballard is who commented. I lost a friend to suicide years ago. His name was Les, although we called him Muppet because he was so animated and funny and he had us all in stitches no matter what the situation, no matter what was going on in our lives. One of our crew got sent down for murder and it broke him. It broke me too. Muppet was so distraught he couldn't do anything to save our friend from going to prison for weeks afterward, and that changed him. And then one day, he just simply vanished, and no one could find him. We reported it to the cops 24 hours after, and he couldn't be found, and they started to look for him. 72 hours after he'd been officially logged as missing, I went for a walk with Muppet's dog, Berkeley, as no one was looking for him. I didn't know what it was or why the reason, but I took him down some abandoned railroad track so he could be let off his leash and run. Suddenly he took off, damn near wrenching my arm out of its socket, and all I could do was hold on to the lead and run after him. He ran straight to a tall tree and stopped at the bottom, whining and whimpering. He sat down and wouldn't move, staring at and barking at the tree. I looked at it, and there was nothing there. Until I looked around the backside of the tree, and that's when I saw him. A pair of Timberland boots. They were Muppets, and they were 8 feet off the deck. He'd hung himself from one of the branches wearing his favorite boots and one of our friend's hoodies that he'd borrowed so he could be near him all the time when he was in prison. I had to cut him down and call the police. Not what I should have done, but I couldn't just leave him there like that. I don't know how long I sat there with him. It felt like an eternity until the cops turned up. It still feels like an eternity now. August this year will be 30 years since it happened.
Wow.
I'm 48 now, and it's still as raw as it happened yesterday. I miss that damn Muppet and his infectious smile. I wish he could still be here to meet my 2 young lads. He'd have been an epic uncle to them. Every time I hear this track by Ren, I get to bawling my eyes out. I'm having trouble seeing as I type this. I know exactly what Ren has been through with Joe and is still going through to this very day. Be strong, brothers. Call, shout, talk, holler, scream. Say fucking something to someone. There is life beyond the point that you're at now, no matter how bad you think it is at this moment. It's thousands of times better on down the road, but you've got to take that first step. And he quotes chapter 64 of the Tao Te Ching. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's fucking beautiful, Ben.
Wow, what a gift that was a comment?
That was a comment. I was sitting in my kitchen bawling.
Wow. Thank you for that. Vulnerability and that just like glimpse into your trauma. Yeah, that hit me. Yeah, I mean, what he said about like just keep going is kind of the feel that he had at the end there. Like I've experienced in the last couple of years just absolute brutal emotional pain. I wanted to die, and I thought about taking my life several times. And but now on this side of it, like I'm not, my circumstances haven't really improved, but I've become more resilient. And I haven't even had those thoughts recently, but he's absolutely right. It's like just give yourself like one more day. If you can just find the strength and the courage to go just one more day, one more hour, one more day, and you will, it will become easier and it will be okay. And you're there's always like some silver lining. There's some lessons, but I mean, that was a really amazing comment.
The storytelling.
Yeah.
But the heart. God, the heart that you could feel in that comment. Yeah.
And the fact that he sat and like just gave us that on our YouTube channel.
He gave us that gift of that story of he turned his pain into a message of hope.
Yeah, what a beautiful, it's the best comment I've ever heard in my life.
It really hit me when he was saying like he would have been such an epic uncle, because Oakley, my bonus son, called Andy Uncle Andy. He was Uncle Andy. Yeah. And he would have loved Priya.
Yeah.
I mentioned when we recorded the Ren suicide video. Sorry, for those who didn't watch it, I guess go watch it. Yeah, but I share a personal story of how suicide has affected me. And I reached out to my friend who had dated Andy, and I just wanted someone else to know in our little circle that like he's still making a difference. Yeah. Yeah. Woo! You need a tissue break.
Oh yeah, let me grab it. I'll grab it. Okay. I can reach it. Oh, thank you. I don't need tissue. I use my sleeves.
I use my sleeves. I don't need it.
Okay.
Oh man.
This segment is brought to you by Puffs Plush Lotion.
Yeah, Puffs. If you wanna, sponsor us. I mean, I'm a therapist. I got you like wholesale. I'm wholesale buying Puffs. So. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one.
Oh, that was just one. You ready?
Oh boy, buckle up, listeners.
I might have dished up the deepest one first. But,
okay.
So this next comment was from JenKill81. Spelled Gen, and it was in relation to the Jelly Roll Save Me video.
Which is our most watched one.
Yes, give it a listen. Or a watch, I suppose. So this has been me since October 27th, 2006, relating to the message in the song and him feeling that way. I've lost so many friends and family, but none of it has bothered me, except Sergeant Luke Zimmerman has haunted me since 2006. He was my senior Marine, my fire team leader, and he was the best of us. I was hell-bent on deploying with him, but my wife was pregnant with our daughter, so he talked me out of it, and I went to a non-deployable unit. Luke died less than 6 months after my daughter was born, and I should have been there with him. He wanted a family so bad, and he'll never get that chance. I've tried to find the courage to visit him in Arlington, but I haven't been able to find the courage. I'm sorry, Zim. I should have been there with you. If I'd have, maybe you'd still be here. Till Valhalla, brother.
So Zim, I'm sorry. Zim died.
Zim died when he was deployed.
Okay.
So this is about someone who he just lost, and he'd lost lots of people in the military. I'm assuming he didn't specify that in that particular sentence, but that's the one that really stung. He was the best of us. He talked me out of it, so I didn't go. And now he's not here to have that family that he wanted.
Yeah. So he almost feels like he's getting the benefits of what Zim deserved.
Yeah. And what I would really want to tell this person, if I could, they may never hear this. They may never, it may never reach them. Zim does not want you to be beating up on yourself like that.
Yeah.
No. He made his choices from what he wanted and what was, what he wanted for his life in that moment.
Right.
And we have to respect that.
Yeah.
And this commenter feeling as though they need to have a sense of guilt or shame for living past that and becoming a father.
Yeah.
Isn't the burden that you want to carry.
Right.
Instead, accept this beautiful gift.
Yeah, like you said, Zim would have wanted him to. Like,
if he was the best of you, he would have wanted you to be there. He wanted you to be there and to be a father before. He wanted him to stay and to be safe.
Yeah, he talked you out of it because he saw like your potential and your future. I would say go to Arlington, take your family to Arlington, introduce them to Zim, and dialogue with him, because that's going to give you probably a little sense of closure.
That would be really beautiful.
Yeah.
I think some of this is also a reflection, perhaps, on maybe this person not really feeling as though they're as worthy as Zim was. And then I would say that that's an area to maybe work on, because you are worthy, and your message and your story is helping people.
Yeah. Another beautiful comment. Thank you for that gift. Thank you for this vulnerability.
And for serving for our country.
Yeah.
But both the commenter and Sergeant Luke Zimmerman especially, who gave his life.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, we got a third comment?
We do.
Okay.
This one was also in a comment for Jelly Roll Save Me from @John R. Trucker.
Okay.
March of last year, I about lost what little I had left. I'm a third-generation truck driver, the first in my family to own a truck, and I lost my mom the 26th of March last year. And 2 days into my run to be with my dad, my head gasket blew. Long story short, I needed $60K to rebuild, and it took a month to just get to Nevada to be with my dad. I don't have a home, 2 broke-down cars, 1 broke-down semi, divorced, and can't get funding. I was lower than low. But all I could do is keep grabbing gears, because if I gave up, I'd disrespect the sacrifice my mom made to raise me. And as hard as it was, I knew I couldn't. Driving is my only therapy and also the reason for the divorce. Without a home, it gives me joy and pain, and this song many times I had to pull over for because I couldn't see the road. Yeah, this one hits me too. And it hits me also personally because my dad was a truck driver and actually has the same name. So for a second I was like, And it's hard. It's hard to maintain a family when you're on the road. And I think it can be a lonely place. And at the same time, I hear him saying like he feels this freedom from being on the road, and he was able to overcome and persevere through this incredibly difficult time. It was not even a year ago.
Yeah.
And I love that, how did he phrase it? It was like, all I could do is just keep grabbing gears.
Yeah.
Keep grabbing gears. We don't know. We can't predict our future. And that's what's so difficult. As humans, we like to have certainty.
Right.
And life requires that it is anything but.
Yeah. No, and I can relate a lot to that story, because a long season of just so many terrible circumstances, and it was uncertain. And, I remember the thing that I arrived on was like, that I had to cling to. It's the lesson that I kept on relearning, was that like the person, so I've arrived in the concept of like, you don't get to escape the consequences until you learn the lessons. And so the lesson I learned was that I have to be like consistent with the person that I'm supposed to be, and that I was like meant to be. So once I started like really becoming relentless with like my best self, not that I'm saying you have to perform a certain way, but just like,
what would my best self be doing right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And I just was like, okay, that's who I'm going to be regardless of my circumstances, because I kept on saying in order for me to be my best self, the circumstances have to be okay, or they have to be resolved. But it's like, no, the best self comes first, and then the circumstances will follow. And so now it's like I have this light at the end of the tunnel after like a season of just continually having like a level of excellence showing up, and just like really fighting for the life that I want. And now it's coming, And so, I mean, and that's, there's no timeline on that. And so that I think a lot of people give up because, it's just like when life is just so painful and brutal, how can you really just conjure up the confidence to just be
to believe, to have hope,
to bet on yourself?
It's exhausting to have hope if your evidence has contradicted that.
Yeah, but you have to just like really just give that like 1% today, So anyway, that's my own.
No. Similarly, like I reflect back on the time when I considered taking my own life, and it was a compounded situation. I was in my early 20s of, job, health, bad relationship, not the family support I was on it, right? Like I would have missed such beauty.
Yeah.
It would have been heartbreaking to know now, like the beauty of my life.
Yeah.
You cannot predict it. We do not have that power to do so. And I think it's an important reminder. In fact, I'm now want to read a piece of poetry that I really think resonates.
Okay.
I've been really obsessed. I feel like this is the only poetry I've been bringing to the podcast, but I'm in a season, so you just got to go with it. And it's a Bouquet of Stars by Shalane Harkin. And this poem is called The Full Moon. I've arrived, said the full moon. I figured it out. I'll stay whole this time. I won't wane anymore. No more darkness. And hasn't your heart thought the same thing right before another plunge into its necessary school of shadows? To insist on staying light is unnatural and without elegance. Darling, learn the rhythms of descent into your precious darkness. The moon would be a much less alluring place and would have no message to teach, and her process would be much less poetic if she only knew the luminous side of her wholeness. This is where we build character.
Yeah.
This is where we get to, like, this is life school, when you get to find the resilience through those moments of grinding those gears, of taking those steps.
That's beautiful. It's like, embrace the darkness.
There's a phrase, this one was really funny, from Robert Frost.
Mm-hmm.
And, let me find it. It was, okay, sorry. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on.
Until it doesn't, though. To be fair, everyone dies.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, okay.
I actually had a psychedelic experience I had with ketamine. I'm a ketamine-assisted therapist. I had this vision of different birds flying at different vibrancy, and sometimes in states of altered consciousness, it's not something that's communicated in words, but in a picture or in a feeling. So the instant feeling I had was that all of these different vibrancies were just reflecting a transition in life. And there's lots of transitions. There's a transition into fatherhood.
Yeah.
There's a transition into middle age, right? There's a transition into becoming an adult. And death is another transition. But what if we didn't view it as the finality that it is, and just as a transition into another world?
I mean, I think that's beautiful, because like, depending on your worldview, a lot of people believe in an afterlife, and that is a really great way to look at it. That, you're just transitioning into a different world, and then you look, because like some of the most comforting thoughts for me have been when I look at my life in the scheme of eternity, and it's like this painful experience is one tiny little microscopic blip on the radar.
Yeah.
When the scheme of eternity, like, it means nothing, it's nothing. And so that I love that concept.
And humans, we just have short memories too. Like, we don't remember like how resilient we really are.
Yeah.
And we don't remember, like, in a state of depression or hopelessness, it's hard to remember a time when things were good, but there was.
Yeah, I have a short memory. Like, I'll forget why I walk into a room,
It's been happening more and more, if I'm being honest. I should probably do like a dementia screening. Okay, another quote along this topic. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Seneca.
Well, tell me why that line is profound to you.
Because we cling to wanting sometimes the consistency of not having an end and a new beginning. Change is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We don't like discomfort. Change also means uncertainty, and we don't like uncertainty.
Well, and I know a lot of people who are going through like major life transitions, like divorce and things like that. Me, myself, personally, I'm going through transitions. But like when you are grieving the death of a dream, it's something that you had you thought was just going to be lifelong. It's coming to an end. It's so hard to like believe that something good is going to come after.
Yeah.
For me to like be on the cusp of like my best life or like a new chapter is exciting, but it's also like, I can't believe that. Like I've convinced myself that I'm not worthy of a new chapter, So like the fact that, but it's also like, I'm thankful that I have that humility now. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm excited to see like what life is going to feel like with a new chapter that I feel unworthy of, but that's going to be like the answer to like my prayers,
I think it's the internal shift we were talking about that has to happen for a lot of the external things to happen. And that is something that you've been working on.
Yeah.
Is how do I have a different relationship with myself internally and understand myself better? And I think a lot of times that fear of like, what is this next chapter going to look like? What is this transition going to mean? It's also a fear of I'm going to have to peel off a part of myself that isn't welcome in the next chapter.
Right.
I have to shed a skin in order to really immerse myself here.
Yeah.
I have to say goodbye to the habits that are self-destructive. I have to, create the version of myself that can thrive in this world and isn't, honestly, like, it can be addictive to stay in a space that doesn't think that it can get better.
Right.
Because it's safe to not have hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said earlier about, you don't get to escape the consequences until you've learned the lessons. This feels like it's a reward for learning the lessons. It's like you're stuck in jail. You're stuck in your own prison until you're granted the key. And the key is like, just fucking learn.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the universe is like, no, you're.
We've got everything here for you. It's all in your head that you're saying it's not.
Exactly.
You've just forgotten who you are, that you are worthy, and that it's available to you.
Well, and it's like not even get granted a key. It's like you can freely walk out of this jail.
You can exactly.
It's unlocked, but you are imprisoning yourself.
Yes. Yeah. This addiction to the comfort of viewing that it will never get better is actually the most unsafe place to be.
Right. And you're projecting, trying to read the future or predict the future, but it's like, no, you don't know the future. Just go be brave, have faith, walk out of the jail cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the beauty of like this episode is just maybe how do we spread a little bit more hope? Because that was the sense from the comments. I was getting messages of hope, but also messages of like deep pain.
Yeah.
Last quote, and then one more poem.
Okay.
Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Neil Donald Walsh. There it is.
Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Yeah, that's right along with what we were just talking about.
Exactly.
It's like your comfort is like subjective.
Yeah.
You know?
And I guess that is bringing that quote just automatically like transported me to a moment actually in my life. It was cool. Like I love being a therapist. I really, really do. But I also have this creative side that didn't have an outlet for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And it felt stifled. And so for me, I had to recognize that, cultivating this light might mean that you have to get out of your comfort zone. I stayed stuck in there for a couple of years, and it was really uncomfortable. I didn't like it. And it was like this, like there's something pulling on me. Like there's something else you got to be doing here. Like you're doing good work here, but like, your light needs more oxygen.
Right.
And, I remember having to coach myself through my own walls that I'd put up to get to that other side of like, yeah, okay, I can get to a space where I can just like be creative and throw my thoughts out and put this heartfelt message out into the world. And like, I don't know how it's going to be received. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I need to do it. And it is scary. And it is taking a chance. And it feels so good.
Yeah.
It feels so good to have like reconnected with that side of myself again.
And look at you now.
Just rambling on. Rambling away.
Here we are. Yeah. No. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Growth is painful and change is painful, but it is not as painful as being stuck. I promise you that.
Is that a quote that you just read? Or is that your own thought?
That was my thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
You opened the book and said something profound.
Oh, I did. Yeah, so I did. Was like, I know that is confusing. Okay. Here's this next one I have for you, and then there's my short and sweet message for today. Okay.
Okay.
This is called Return. Again, Shalane Harkin from the book Susceptible to Light. Another round through the dark, narrow tunnels of healing. I swear I've been here before, and I swore I'd never return. But this time, it is to heal the myth that there's failure in returning. Relapse into old ways is an opportunity for greater kindness to reveal newly tender places. Regression is a deeper look into your soul's needs. Darling, your life is blossom after blossom on the 1,000-petal lotus. Lesson after lesson is how to bow more deeply.
I don't know how I feel about that one. Is she talking about? It's like pro relapse? I mean, it's probably not pro relapse, or is it saying?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk through it.
Okay, because I mean,
continued healing means you're continuing to grieve things. You really can't heal unless you're grieving.
Like going back, not physically going back to the thing, but like emotionally revisiting like your shame and stuff. Right?
Meaning that being human, we never really reach a place where we're always okay all the time.
Yeah.
And where we're never bumped and where our past doesn't bubble up from time to time. And if that isn't what you relate to, then I'm wondering if you've really connected with yourself. Because we can live in denial and live in dissociation for our whole life if you want to. And that's not really living. But yeah, there's going to be moments where you feel rattled. And instead of taking that as an indication that you aren't worthy or that you are crumbling, take that as an indication that there is more to learn and more lesson to be found here. And how can you give yourself more love in that healing?
Okay, that makes sense.
Because instead of shaming and saying, I'm here again, right? That's counteractive. But I say, this is familiar, and this is where I have to come to learn. Yeah,
it's like, it looks like there's a little more to learn. Yeah. I love that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because the word relapse, though, has a lot of baggage, so that...
But relapse just into, like, we're not always going to be, like, having clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And even, I would say relapse in terms of addiction, too. Like, relapse should be viewed as, like, a normal part of healing through addiction. Yeah. And an opportunity to learn, what do I need to do differently to take care of myself?
Yeah.
Or what lesson did I learn from this that I can carry on through the next lesson? We think we have a rush to like, well, you learned it and that should be it. Well, that's just not how our nervous system works when you've had years of trauma or habit or whatever baked into it. So I view the poem as a plea to see yourself as a little bit more human.
Yeah, that you're not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on this windy podcast episode where we got to have a little bit of group therapy together.
Yeah.
And I hope that you continue to enjoy the content that we're providing. It has been so much fun to be creative and to create this community of creative, delightful humans. Please check out our YouTube channel and let us know what you think. And as always, just stay curious, stay delightful humans, lean in, and remember to cultivate that light. That is what you are here for. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.